What's going on, everybody?
We're back.
We're back. We're winding it down, but it's Amber Virgillo and
Joe LaRocca.
Joe LaRocca.
At LaRocca J.
At Amber Virgillo. I don't know if I've gained a follower. Have you?
I've had a lot of tweets.
I've had some tweets.
I've had some messages.
Yeah, I've had some tags. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I got a couple Facebook friend requests that I will promptly ignore. I'm just kidding.
But you can link us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter, just don't friend us on Facebook.
Unless you're our friends out there, that's a little different, I guess.
Yeah.
So everybody is
Or blow up our phones.
Yeah. Please, I'm only at 38% right now, so if I don't answer you, it's because my phone is dead.
Yeah. Okay, and I say you praise in public, so put that on Twitter, and punish in private. So if we suck, just tell us, but call us.
No, actually, I don't care if we suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Too late, it's live, and they'll probably cut this part out now anyway.
So knuckles to that. Okay, now this is what's interesting. We've been talking about this relatively ho-hum subject of cybersecurity all day. I think the viewers are really interested in this one for some odd reason. Yeah. So I got some stats for you to comment on.
Yeah.
Remember we practiced
let's
this?
talk stats.
Okay,
yeah,
let's
talk stats.
I didn't even memorize it. That's how hot off the press they are. Okay, so a study done by KPMG. So I got to cite my source here. They think I'm making it up, which I've done before. I'm not above that.
Okay.
So
very good.
58% of consumers are skittish about buying from a retailer that has had a cyber breach. The staggering part of that, it's getting late, isn't it? 63% of consumers are even more skittish about buying online from that same retailer. Now that's some stats right there. What do you make of that at LaRocca, Jay?
Okay. I have a very strong point of view about this. And
no.
When we talk about companies that have been breached, let's make sure we throw the facts out there, right?
Here they are.
So in 2014, 35 companies across the country, retailers, were breached.
35.
35 companies. And those companies lost just over 60 million records. Okay? So they're the names you know. We heard a lot about Target and Neiman's and Michael's and others, but let's make sure that the facts are really clear. And first of all, the companies, the retailers, were victims in all of this. So the fact that a cardholder's a victim, that makes sense. But somebody broke in, much like somebody breaking into your house, breaking into your car, hackers broke in and stole the data. So let's make sure that we know the retailers are a victim. And nobody's perfect here. Do you bank at JP Morgan? Do you do business with the U.S. State Department, the U.S. Postal Service, any number of banks, insurance companies? Because they've all been breached too.
You sound like you're on the retailer side.
You know what? I'm just impartial here because I think that this is really a national problem. Mm-hmm. It's an issue. It's a discussion we have to have that says, okay, we as a collective are willing to change some of our practices. So retailers are going to go to chip and pin. And the banks are going to need to ante up, and the retailers are going to need to ante up.
Now you got the government getting involved.
The government's going to get involved. So it's a fundamental change that's got to happen. But in Target's defense, let me just say that a lot of criticism was thrown at Target for the breach, and Neiman's and others. But the reality is that Target responded to the breach immediately once they identified the issue. The U.S. government, the U.S. Secret Service, great teams of cyber intelligence people jumped all over these investigations. And they knew the threat, they knew the program that was being used almost right away. And I think that's a real acknowledgement to the law enforcement and the retail community that there is a process involved to detect and investigate these. Now collectively, banks, government, financial, health,
they're getting on top of it.
Education.
They have to be.
Everybody's got to be on top of this.
It's kind of the newest, hottest crime, right?
That's right?
So I heard one retailer say to me, we know in our business that it's really not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. What do you say about that?
Well, I think that the FBI director, James Comey, said that essentially every U.S. company has either been a victim or will be a victim of cyber intrusion. A lot of these intrusions coming from China, from other foreign entities, but the truth is that we're in a digitally connected world today, and we're storing data, we're making transactions, but the banks have provided protection, especially for credit transactions, that you should not have a worry about your credit transaction. If you find something fraudulent, you call the bank, they remove it from your account. You just need to notify them within 30 days. This is going to happen, It's kind of like getting into a fender bender. Of course, in your life, if you drive, it's going to happen. You fix the problem. It's, like tripping on the sidewalk. It's going to happen.
So you would say there is some brand, disruption that happens to the retailer. However, it maybe shouldn't be seen as this just catastrophic problem that the company didn't have any foresight to, right? I mean, it was a little
Absolutely.
overreaction starting, and now it's basically that the hackers have to get it right just once, right? I heard a CIO say to me yesterday, actually, there's no tiny hole in a balloon.
That's right.
Right, because I mean, that's what the hackers are doing, which I was reading about hackers in my spare time, because I have no life.
Hacking and stalking. If you've followed her all day, she's talking about hacking and stalking.
He's the stalking one. I'm me, just the hacking.
She's
but,
the hacker.
It's interesting that they're talking about these hackers actually have an entrepreneurial, did I get it?
Yeah.
Business model, right? And now we're getting the wrap up time, but I got to finish this thought because it's really good. So that I think.
That's
so
good.
so the hackers outsource getting the software made.
That's right.
Then they hack it, and then they hire what they're called carters to sell the information.
That's right.
So they're like going to go on Shark Tank, these hackers.
That's right.
And I'll see them. I love that show.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw it back. There's 2 websites that I want you to check out. The first one is privacyrights.org, privacyrights.org. And in there is a database of hacks, breaches, malicious intrusions, etc., dating back to 2005. And you can break it up by sector, government, medical, retail, etc. A really great website for statistics, just so you know you're not alone out there. And the second website that I want you to take a look at is, of course, Krebs on Security, Brian Krebs. He was a keynote speaker in June at the LP conference, but he breaks a lot of the news about the latest hacking intrusions.
Krebs on Security.
KrebsOnSecurity.com or at Brian Krebs. Really good information that comes out.